We're delighted to have Goher answer questions, and you can submit them or raise your hand any way she wants to do this. And afterwards, we will have Adrian for more music. Thank you.
Buzz, sit there. Dad. Yo. He's not listening. You sit there. ये लोग को नहीं है password? I know that. Go sit there. Oh my God. As if he doesn't have enough. Oh my God. Diane.
I also saw him.
Smack him. As if he doesn't have enough.
I'll hold Alan down.
His granddaughters.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you could use that microphone there. So when somebody asks a question, repeat the question. You can, if they could just hold the microphone and say the question. Because on these YouTube things, most of the time you never can hear the question.
I'll repeat Ron, I can repeat the question. It's okay. Yeah.
She's quite capable.
I'll do my best.
And you might just ignore it.
That's a good point, too.
Are you ready for questions?
I am. Yes.
A lot of times you hear about people being raised in a Baba family and then they struggle with their own relationship with Baba.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever experience that? The struggle?
Okay. The question was, sometimes when you're born in a Baba family, you grow up knowing Baba, but you have a struggle becoming a Baba lover. So have I ever experienced that? I, for myself, no. I was, from my very conception, you could say, I was with Baba. So it was just very natural for me to know him as God. That's all I knew. As I know I have a nose on my face, I know Baba is God. So it was that natural for me. I had no questions, no qualms, nothing. So that's been my experience, yeah.
And with that,
Yeah.
your father having this this intimate relationship with Baba,
Sure.
did you know that you were special that way?
Yes, I've always known that I was most fortunate to be born in the family that I was, from a very early age. Like even when my schoolmates would, know that our family followed Baba, but yet it was so foreign to them because, this was not Jesus, this was not Zoroaster to my Parsi friends, this was not Muslim-wise, Islam-wise, Islamic in any way. So how did I deal with that? Well, I just said, I said to them, and they would often say, how can you believe, and Baba was living at the time, he was in body, he was physically there. How can you believe in a human being that says he's God? Well, who the heck was Jesus, I would say to myself. The same thing. But then I would say, then I would know, how lucky am I? How very lucky am I to be born in this family? Oh, I knew that from day one. Knew how blessed indeed I was. Yes. And then, to have God name you. How special is that? So.
I don't think anybody in this room can say that.
Thank you, Diane. That is truly special. Yes. So, yes, I feel truly fortunate, supremely blessed. Yeah. So, yes.
You talked about your dad yesterday.
Yeah.
Mom's family. You haven't told us much about Mom.
Mom's family? Sure. Well, my grandfather, Kekashru Patel, came to know of Baba through Baba's spiritual sister, Pilamai, who also lived in Karachi all her life. Most of her family also, I don't think, would, genuine Baba lovers, but she was Baba's, known as his spiritual sister, and connected to Goher's family in Quetta, I believe. But yeah, so my grandfather got to know Baba somehow through her, and then Minoo, of course, my dad knew Pilamai as well. So that's how the two of them got connected. And then my mother's family, yes, my grandmother believed in Baba, met him along with my mom's three brothers in the late 40s, 45, I think it was, or 46, I'm not sure of the date. But when Baba once was in Lahore, in Pakistan, which was all India at that point, the whole family had met, my mother's family had met Baba there. So, yeah. Yeah. Yes?
How did your family feel when you decided in 1973 to get married to someone who wasn't a Baba lover and then pack up and move to the United States?
Yeah.
Do you want him to answer?
Which one of us do you want to ask? No, he's asking. Oh, now we're in trouble.
Can you hear me at the back?
Yeah, that's okay. The question was, how did your family feel in 1973 when you decided to marry Goher Mobed here, who comes from a very orthodox Zoroastrian family, and the word Mobed means priest in the Zoroastrian family. On top of that, so yeah. So, but let me answer first, and then you can take over. Okay. So it was a true blessing that my father was a very broad-minded person. He always was, and he accepted everyone and the way they were. Okay, so when I started dating him, if you will, no question about that. Both my parents were very pleased with Danny in many ways.
The saying goes, blessed are the people who've met him and believe. More blessed are the people who've never met him and yet believe.
Good answer.
And
Good answer.
I'm in the latter half, and I think most of you might be in the latter half as well. I also believe that if you are born in a family, you're sort of expected to follow that same route. While somebody from the outside is convinced through experiences or through family matters, and that conviction probably is even stronger. So she's absolutely ground-rooted in spiritualism and in Baba. I was the one who was skeptic, being reformed. And I think that faith comes stronger when you're skeptic and slowly you convince yourself. But I gained knowledge of Baba through what we call osmosis, through small doses of faith and conviction. Because Goher and I are very different people. As I mentioned to somebody else, I'm more down to earth, maybe materialistic, maybe goal-oriented, maybe a forceful personality,
Type A,
as
totally.
you know, and planning for future in life and stuff like that. If something didn't go according to plans, and it happens to all of us, you always wonder, why me? I didn't do anything wrong. Why did the good Lord punish me for something like that? And that's where her strong faith came in. And she always told me, don't worry, there's a plan for it, and it will slowly get better. And so these little doses over the years, and we've been married 51 years, slow doses convinced me slowly there's someone which is a higher power beyond that. And I know that from my own work. As you know, I'm a surgeon. There's so many times when you do your best and things don't go right, and you look and you close your eyes and say that prayer and say, please help me change, and things do change. So, some people call it miracle. I think it's the hand of the Lord that faces good faith and guides our hands to do this. And I just want to mention one thing. The interesting
get him off?
words. Interesting words that I often read, and one of, because my belief is that we all are born for a purpose. Me knowing Goher is not the roll of the dice. It's not just out of the blue or magic. Me standing here and talking to you is not by chance, is not by conviction. Everything is ordained. And that's my faith also. That when we are, and I've mentioned that to Goher many times, when we are so strongly entwined with somebody, either through marriage or through conviction or something like that, it does not end at death. It's a curtain where we go on, and my belief is we meet that person in the future, somewhere, somehow, maybe not recognizing that person as the person that we knew, but we do that, and that sort of enforces my faith. So the last thing I'm going to say is somebody had told me those lines. When you're born, the people around you are joyous and happy while you cry. Lead your life such that when you die, people around you mourn and cry while you laugh and in ecstasy to meet the Lord.
And I'll close this segment by saying, by quoting you a Baba quote on this about faith and conviction. So Baba says, "Faith is the gift of the lover to the beloved, but conviction is my gift to you."
Say it again.
Faith is the gift from the lover to the beloved, but conviction is my gift to you. So when you have enough faith, inevitably you will have the conviction down the road. Yes.
And it's not easy to be a scientist and to have faith at the same time.
Correct.
We look at science, we don't. For our
Yeah.
answers.
Oh, yeah.
And so to let go of the science and to believe, and for me, Baba, it was work for me.
More than 90% of the scientists and doctors believe in just what they see,
Exactly.
Indeed.
what they hear. And it's a little departure from the knowledge when to believe in something or someone you've never seen.
Unseen, to believe.
Ultimately, the circumstances guide you towards the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So we are here by divine appointment.
Absolutely.
And Minoo,
Yeah.
his conviction
Yes.
was that he was going to get God realization.
Yes.
So, was there anything unique or special about his transition when he dropped his body? Where was he? Were you there?
Oh, the question was there anything unique about my father when he passed this life, when he transitioned? Nothing unique that I can think of. He passed in 1984 basically of heart trouble. He had a heart situation, and he passed in Karachi, where he was born, raised, and passed on there. And unfortunately, I was not there. I had just had my son, who was 2 months old at the time, and March. Yeah. So we were here in New York, and it was a shock to me that when he passed, I didn't expect him to depart that early, if you will. But nothing unique or spectacular about his passing. Mom was there, my brother was there with him. Yeah. So yes, Diane.
Are your kids Baba lovers?
Yes, they are. Yeah, my daughter Syra, who is now 48, we grew up very close to Meherana and Zenobia Mystery. They lived in Pennsylvania. We are in New York. So Rabia and Syra grew up kind of together. They're the same age, and they've attended a couple of the youth Sahavas in Myrtle Beach together. And she, of course, all our kids have come with us to India several times, met the Mandli, and bowed it down at Baba's Samadhi. So yeah, so they're all close in their own ways to Baba. They may not express it as much or, go Baba places that often, but in their own way, they have great faith in Baba and know him, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have a little curiosity about the Dubash family and the
Yeah.
relationship with Minoo.
Yes.
Your family.
Right. So my father, the connection between the Dubash family and my father. So how were they connected? So Adi Dubash is distantly related to my father, but in the same family. So let's see. So my father's mother was a Dubash. Her last name before she got married, she was a Dubash. So she was connected to Adi's father, who's also a Dubash, right? So there lies the connection. It goes back a couple of generations. Let's see if I can remember this. Okay, so Pirosha Dubash, who was Adi's father, and my grandmother, my father's mother, were aunt and nephew. So distantly, kind of distantly, generational gap there, but that was the connection.
Did your dad tell Adi about Baba?
Yes, absolutely. And as I was just telling somebody this morning, Betty was asking me about that. So Adi's mother and Adi were the only ones in that family to follow Baba. Adi had 2 other brothers, younger to him. Absolutely no feeling for Baba, no connection. Adi's father, same way, knew about him, gave his wife the liberty to do what she wanted to, where Baba was concerned. He never stopped her from going to India or whatever to visit Baba. But it was more restricted. It was not an open, okay, you can do whatever. Oh my goodness, there's a tortoise here. I just saw, I was like, what is that moving? I'm sorry. Somebody's Papa pet. I know. How sweet. But yeah, she and Adi were very close to Baba and met him in the mid-40s. Yeah, through Dad. Because my father was so so close to her, as she had raised him pretty much as one of her own sons. So the connection was very strong, and the love between the 2 of them was inexplicable. I mean, nobody could explain that. I mean, why would Minoo, who was a distant relative and, taken in by her and, this, so how did this intense feeling between the 2 of them develop? And Baba mentioned at one point that in their past, this is from past life connection. That is very strong. That was very strong. So, yeah. So it was inevitable. Yeah.
Question.
Yes. Oh, Rainy.
What was it like when you went to the East-West gathering?
Oh.
All these crazy,
Western.
all these people. You as a little girl, what was that like?
Yeah, so Rainey's question was, how was it for me as a little girl at the East-West gathering where I first met Baba and met all these wonderful Westerners that, oh yes, so many of them. I remember distinctly Elizabeth, Kitty, Jane Haynes, and their children, Jane's children, Wendy and Charles, they were young. And let's see, who else? Oh my goodness, a bunch of people that I met all these Westerners. And then after the darshan, we had taken a trip to Meherana, a day trip, I believe, and my father was one of the guides. He always volunteered at any of these events for Baba, and so he was a volunteer and directed people between the hotels and Guru Prasad and came with us on the bus. So he was on the bus with us to Meherana, and as soon as we approached Baba's hill, and he saw Baba's flag up on the he jumped up and said, Parvardigar, Meher Baba Ki Jai, 3 times. Parvardigar. And he always said Parvardigar, not Avatar. Yeah, because Parvardigar is creator, sustainer, and destroyer, all 3, I think, right? So he always said Parvardigar, Meher Baba Ki Jai. And everybody jumped on the bus, including me. But that was my father. I mean, He was a total Baba fanatic. I mean, in every sense of the word. Baba was everything and anything to him. Yeah. Yeah, so it was lovely. I met a lot of Westerners, on the bus. I don't know if it was this trip or one of the Amartiti trips where we did the same thing. But there was a sweet lady sitting next to me, a young girl, I think. I don't recall who she was now. But she had a jar of peanut butter. And I had always read about peanut butter in the comic books. You know, we would read Archie comics, and I was like, oh my God, she's eating peanut butter. And she was eating away from and I asked her what that was, and she said, it's peanut butter. Have you ever tried it? I said, no. And then she gave me a little taste, and I said, oh, that tastes really good. She gave me the whole jar. She said, I told her, I've only seen this in comic books. She was so sweet. But yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Did your father and did you think of Baba as Zoroaster? Was he like the return of Zoroaster or something else?
God in human form. That's it. Everybody, whether it was Zoroaster or any of the prophets, all in one, all the same.
How did the Zoroastrian community in Karachi take to the idea that Zoroaster had come back?
Totally antagonistic. Oh my goodness, there was great antagonism between the Zoroastrian community and knowing.
Were you abused by?
No, I wouldn't say we were abused, but no, definitely a lot of eyebrow raising and that kind of, how can you. But my father nothing affected him, not at all. And we very openly had our Baba meetings. Every 25th of the month was a Baba meeting at Minoo Kharas' house, which was our Baba center in Karachi. So, we were about a group of about 30 of us. By the time I was, as a child, I remember our little house used to be packed with people in the living room. Yeah.
Were they all Zoroastrian?
No. We had, Ramju Abdullah, Baba's other close disciple. Aisu was his mother's sister, I think. Yeah. His aunt, Aisu, she was in Karachi, and she and her family would come to the meetings. We had some Muslim followers that came later on. One of them was a customs officer in the government. We had mostly Parsis, I would say, mostly Zoroastrians. The Mawalwala, Zareen, Mawalwala. Anyway, mostly Parsis. Don't remember any Christians, do I? No. Yes, Rainey.
So when you were little and Mick Ushi were on the road, and Mick came with hepatitis for Baba said he was one who could help him. What was that like?
Yeah, I remember that very clearly. This was in 66 or 67. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the question was about Mick and Ushi, Mick Hamilton and Ushi, who came to us traveling from Turkey, I believe, in a VW van. They drove all across Southeast Asia, crossed Afghanistan, came into Pakistan, and then came to Dad, to our home. And the first visit, and then the dog Sita, big black dog they had, Sita, very sweet. So they were with us for quite a while, stayed in my bedroom, so I remember that very well. I had this little alcove, which was aside from my parents' bedroom, and so we had to go through their room and then into my little alcove. But they were there, and they stayed quite a while, that was the hippie generation, so they were flower children, I guess. And so I remember Ushi, very sweet, long hair, and
Ursula.
Ursula, yes, yeah, she was known as Ushi. I'm sorry, yeah, Ursula. Ursula, that's right. Then subsequently, I think they went to visit Baba. Was it right after this, or was it the next year? 66, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then he had them go on a pretty wild goose chase before he eventually met them for like an hour or something. I'm foggy on the details. 5 minutes it was, right. But then they stayed a little longer, I think, right? But, yeah. But they were very fortunate to even have that much at that time, because it was quite late in his time, and he was in seclusion. I know that. So they stayed with us. The first visit, I remember, was not so eventful. But then subsequently, when they came back, they were somewhere up north. Where were they? In Lahore, that's right. And Ushi called frantically to my father, because by then Mick had contracted hepatitis and he was in the hospital and he was not doing well at all. She was really frightened. And so Minoo said, just bring him to Karachi and I'll take over from there. So she managed to bring him, flew him down, and then he was hospitalized in Karachi for a while, and Dad was by his bedside day and night till he recovered. And they were like penniless at the time. So our whole Karachi group gathered funds and we were able to send them back home. Yeah. I remember that. Yes. And then Robert Dreyfus also came after that at one point. Yeah. Yes, Anna.
Do you find that there's any commonality, or how do I say this? Being in Baba's physical presence.
Yes.
And now that he's not in the body.
Yeah.
Can you still experience Baba's presence?
Absolutely.
As if he's physically with you?
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, the question was, because I had seen Baba physically and now that he is no more with us physically, is my experience of him the same, or do I experience him the same way? I would say yes and no, because yes, in the sense, if I close my eyes and I'm there in a flash, the first time that I met him, when I bowed down and I was in his physical presence, I can bring that, and that's thanks to my father, who whispered in my ear, keep your gaze on him, and so that this memory will last you a lifetime. So yes, I totally can be in his presence in a flash, and that is beautiful. But I find very much that if I'm at a low point at any time right now, I find myself in the tomb, because in the early 70s, when we would go after Baba dropped his body, there were not that many people that visited at that time, and we would stay for a month or so at a stretch. So very often during the day, when we would be up at the Samadhi, there would be not a soul around. So when nobody was there, I sometimes found myself to be by myself in the Samadhi, just sitting in the corner by the right side of the door, and just being in Baba's presence, and that feeling of Baba washing over me and just being with me, it was just palpable. It was palpable, and so if I'm ever down, that's where I take myself, and I'm at peace again. So, yeah. But I see him. So I'm just in addition. There are so many ways I experience him. I can't even begin to tell you. So in my earlier years, when I first got married and came here, and there were no Baba people around me. My family was back home, so no real Baba connections in any way. But his what can I say? His love has been so strong within me that sometimes if I was ever down, and I was down very much in those years due to various circumstances, all I had to do was look up at the sky, and in the clouds I would see his face. I would see his face once I was in my living room, and I was really at a low point in my life, and I just happened to look out the window, and there was a huge boulder in a little hill. The hills were like this outside, huge boulder. And there's Baba's face reclining on the stone. Crystal clear. I could see Baba's face. So I see that happens to me a lot. Yeah.
What age is he in your mind's eye when you think of him?
Various stages of his. He could be a young-looking Baba with longer hair, or he could be. My favorite image of him is in the 50s. That when he was in his close to his early 60s, I would say, that period in the 50s when he came to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect picture to have. So, yeah. Yeah, I feel closest to him in that image. Yeah. So, yes.
So Adi had his three other friends that were going north, east, south, and west, and he heard of Baba in Nasik. So what happened to the other three?
Oh, well, yes. The question was the three other friends that my father had who went in all three different directions, in all four different directions. Did any of them come close to Baba? One of them, I believe, did. But how close and whether he actually met Baba, that I don't know. But it is mentioned somewhere in my father's writings that one of them did, but the others, no. No. Okay, they must have known about him, obviously, through Dad, but nowhere near that I can think of. Yes?
I'm curious what the process of writing that book was. Like,
Ah.
how long did it take? Like,
That's a story, and I just mentioned it a couple of times this weekend. So, my father had written these journals. Ever since he met Baba, he started writing his journals, right? And at one point, they were traveling in a train, him and Baba together, and he showed Baba that this is what I've been doing. Baba looked at the journals, read a few of the pages, and said, "Very good, keep it up." So Dad kept writing, and into the, I would say, mid-50s. That's when it stopped. Because A, he was in Pakistan, Baba was in India. There was really no, direct, aside from letters and correspondence, there was no direct contact, much. So he had stopped writing the journals at that time. In the early 80s, when he was in Meherana in 82, he had these three journals with him. He brought them and he gave them to Naushawan Narawala, because he knew he was a publisher, and he did the Glow magazine. And he told Naushawan, "I'm giving you my journals in your keeping. You do whatever you feel right about it." So they stayed with him. Then 2 years later, Dad passed away in 84. At that point, Naushawan told me that he had obtained Dad's journals and had them with him in raw form, and what did I want to do? And I said, "Naushawan, we have to get started. I would like to publish his journals." So we started the process. It was a long process. It took about 10 years because there was a complication in between, because he had enlisted the service of someone who was supposed to help us edit the book, another Baba lover. But sadly, this person, after she worked on it ploddingly, slowly for so many years, and it turned out to be a massive theme of like a book of over 700 pages. I mean, she put in all kinds of different information that really was not very, but the sad part was that she wanted to claim it as her work. Naushawan said, "No way, this material, but this story, it belongs to the Kharas family. This is Minoo Kharas's family's legacy. How can you call it your work?" "Oh, well, you know what." Anyway, so the matter had to be the only way to get out of it. Naushawan said, "Goher, we have to abandon the entire project and start again." So we absolutely put that aside. Then many years went by in between, in the 90s, where we all got busy with our lives and whatnot, and that was put on the back burner. I didn't forget about it, but it was just on the back burner. In 2008, we moved down to Florida. And my mom was staying with us because after Dad passed, she didn't want to stay back in Karachi, and so we got her over here. In the last 28 years of her life, she stayed with us. In 2011, she was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. So at that point, it was like, Baba coming to me and saying, now is the time. So I called Naushawan and I said, "Naushawan, we have to finish this project." So he enlisted the services of another editor in Myrtle Beach, a very sweet person, Summer Turner, and she was absolutely fabulous. I mean, we got it done within a year and a half. The book was finished, it was edited, completed, and I was able to publish it. Yeah, so.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
What was that like for your mom?
Oh, she was so happy, so happy. And we sent the first copy, of course, to Meherabad, and I had Sridhar place it on Baba's tomb before we started distributing the book. Yeah. Yeah. And Noshiwan has all the rights to the book, so whatever proceeds we get goes to his beloved archives. Yeah. Yeah.
Did I
'Cause-
miss something was your family in India and went to Pakistan in the partition, or were they always in Pakistan?
Oh, was my family always in Pakistan? Yes. My dad always was born and raised in Karachi. And after partition, it so happened that Karachi fell to Pakistan and Baba was in India, which absolutely tore up my father. You can imagine how depressed he was about that. But Baba said to him, I have kept you there for a reason. I have kept you there. Yeah. So, yes.
I have a question. You shared so kindly about Minoo's early childhood experiences and how hard they were.
Yes.
How challenging they were.
Yes.
The suffering that
Yeah.
you were as a child.
Yes.
I'm curious if he ever talked about that with you or shared with you what Baba had said, potentially why he had to endure that.
Yeah, so the question was that he's, as a child, because he had all these conflicting emotions and the challenges that he went through, did he ever talk to me more about that? Sadly, not when I was there. I was cradle snatched at age 19, and I was married and here at a... So with that being said... With that being said, the years I was back home, I had no idea about all of Dad's challenges until I came here and knew about his journals being with Noshiwan, and then that's when I really found out his earlier life story. So I sadly did not get a chance to even, I so wish I had known about that and could have discussed it more with him. I truly miss him so much these days because I myself have a million questions for him, but no, I didn't know about that at the time, so that was sadly the case.
If I may add something.
Oh my God, he's up again. We're never going to
As far as publishing the book is concerned, there's something that Goher did not mention. She's too shy. It costs money to publish a book. And I was a surgeon, money was never an issue. But she decided that since this was her dad's book, it was her responsibility to do it on her own. She opened up a little bit of a vending business.
I had a vending machine business for 5 years.
Where we would go and buy soda and stuff like that. I still remember it. Carry it, and our kids would carry it and put it in vending machine, make some money on the side.
Yeah.
All hers. So the whole labor and the cost was on her.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Well.
So you have no problem with the cradle snatching?
I forgot. When you see a good thing, don't waste time.
I'm sorry, yes.
Hey, I don't mean to be intrusive, but what is the one question you would ask him if you could?
Who, my father? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have so many. I mean, just when I say questions, oh goodness, right on the spur of the moment now. What would I ask him? He would be willing to talk on any subject, and what would I ask him? I mean, if he had any idea of who he might have been before this life, or what his connection to Baba would have been, or oh gosh, on the spur of the moment, I don't know, but I mean, sometimes when I'm doing something or reading something, a question will come up. Say, oh, I wish Dad was here to answer this, or tell me more about it. What was the one question I had? A while ago, I did think of something. I'll come back to that.
A question about Baba's debt to him.
Yes, that would be one, definitely. What I would ask him. Yes, that would be definitely one. That Baba had said, not only do you love me, but I love you, and I have a debt that I owe you. So yeah, that would be one big question I would ask him. But who knows? The very fact that he had a lot of spirituality in him, whether he was aware of it or at what level he was or whatever, but the very fact that other spiritual beings like Krishnamurti, when he saw him and he took his hands and took Minoo's hands and put it on his eyes and then put his hand on his head with tears running down his face. I mean, Krishnamurti was an advanced soul. So for him to have recognized something in Minoo tells me that he must have been at some spiritual level. But see, Baba takes you, when you come into Baba's fold, it's at whatever level you are, you will not know that, because now that you are in his fold, he takes you blindfolded, right? Through involution. So you're not aware, basically, of where you are or what level you're at. You're just Baba's, and you've given your all to him, and you've surrendered everything to him. So you don't know at what level you are. But for somebody spiritually advanced to recognize that in you means a lot. Means a lot. Yeah. So, yes.
Oh, what kind of temperament was Minoo? Was he an intellectual? Was he a feeling type? Was he? Did he speculate out loud about life, philosophy?
Oh yeah.
Was he a good conversationalist? Tell us about how he interacted with people.
Oh my goodness. My father was, how can I describe him? He was just so full of life. I mean, he was not shy about expressing anything and everything about Baba, especially to anybody that asked him anything about. If you go on YouTube, you will see Urban and Edward Luck had come to Karachi and gone all over the place and interviewed people that had been close to Baba. So there are a bunch of videos of my father on YouTube, and you can see him directly and get a great sense of what his personality was. But he was exuberant, he was very descriptive, he was humorous. Oh my goodness, very humorous. Had a very broad-minded. Oh, he was such a wonderful person. I can't even begin to describe him. He's just so full of life and so full of Baba, and was effusive about talking to anybody and everybody. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yes. Sorry.
After the separation of, and your father was in Karachi, did it ever, and he got the relief from Baba saying, "I've kept you here for a purpose."
Yes.
Did he ever surmise or understand what that purpose was? Did he make peace with that? And if not, do you see it in this perspective?
Yeah. So the question is, after the partition, with my father being in Karachi and Baba being in India, did he reconcile with that? Is that your question? Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, he didn't have a choice. But yeah, it didn't affect him in any negative way, if you will. The correspondence was always there between him and the Mandli, very, very close, Adi Senior or Erach or whatever. And he was so much into doing Baba's work and spreading Baba's message in Karachi, with the Baba functions, that we would always have 2 functions a year during Baba's birthday and his silence day. So Baba's birthday was always like a program where they had a guest speaker, they had a lecture, either Dad would speak or Rhoda Dubash would speak, or we had somebody who had come maybe from India or wherever as a guest speaker. And they had those, and it was open to the general public, where a lot of people in Karachi then got to know of who Baba was. Silence Day was a totally different thing. What we did was we called it beggar feeding, which is like poor feeding. So we would all gather at Adi's house, Adi Dubash's house, and cook together. First, the meal was prepared, and then it was boxed, and then 3 or 4 cars would go in different directions in the city to distribute the food to beggars and lepers and people of that. Yeah, they called it beggar feeding. We would do that during the silence day.
And you did this in silence?
In silence, yeah. Yes, Betty. on the way.
I'd asked you earlier, I wondered, maybe you just addressed it, I haven't heard all of your talk. You had said in another talk that you felt that your father noticed that Baba did not set foot in Pakistan.
Yes, yes, I'm glad you asked that question. Yes. So this was after partition. The question was, I had mentioned once in talking with Betty that Baba had never set his foot in Pakistan, which is true. In 1952, when he had the accident here in the United States, and then he recovered here for a while, and then in Europe, in Switzerland, when they flew from Switzerland, they were flying back to India, the only way to go, at that time there was an Air India strike, and the planes were not flying or whatever, so they just about managed to get seats on a flight from Geneva, I believe, to Karachi. And they had to stop in Karachi and then take another flight to Bombay. So when the plane landed in Karachi, Baba was taken from his seat on the aircraft to a wheelchair because of the accident. Then from the wheelchair, he was brought up to the terminal where there was a room set aside for him. They had these waiting lounges or whatever. And so from the wheelchair, he was put on the bed. And there he rested for the night until he was flown out the next day. And again, from the bed to the wheelchair to the plane. So Baba never set his foot on Pakistani soil. Yeah, and that was after partition. See, he had met Gandhi, if you remember, in 1931 on the Rajputana. And that also was the ideal, I told you, the mayor of Karachi, who was Jamshed Nasarwanji Mehta. He was my father's ideal, and he was Zoroastrian. He was the mayor of Karachi. Very, very humble personality. He helped a lot of he was very helpful with the poor of the city and did a lot of humanitarian work. And Baba had met him and was very pleased with his work and told him so. And he was instrumental in getting Gandhi to meet Baba on the ship. So, and Baba told my father at one point to contact Nasarwanji again years later for some work. And so I lost my train of thought. Where was I getting to?
No foot in Pakistan.
Yes, his foot in Pakistan, right. So, yeah, so Baba never wanted India to be partitioned. That was what I was getting at. Yeah. And he had told Gandhi so. That, if you don't let the country be separated. But it was ordained to be that way, I guess. It was destiny. So because it was partitioned, who knows? But he never set his foot in Pakistan. Yeah. Yeah. So, Betty, I hope that answers your question.
Today, is there much of a Baba presence in Pakistan?
From what I know, there are just a handful of us in Karachi, very sadly. There's Zareen Maulwala, she's there, my sister-in-law Jasmine, my brother's wife, and a few others. So just a handful, very sadly, yeah. Not a great Baba group over there. Yes?
We used to love the Shroff sisters.
Yeah.
Would come from Pakistan.
Yeah.
It was so gorgeous. Did they have a family or?
No, right. The question is about the Shroff sisters who were a part of our Karachi group, and they were just 3 spinsters. They never married, and they lived their whole lives together, just the 3 of them. One was a principal of a school, a Parsi girls' school in Karachi. The other 2, one was just at home all the time, and the other worked in an office, the youngest. And They were always part of our Karachi group, would come to us to India to visit Baba for all the darshans, I believe. Yes, so sweet people, yes. But no, they had no family, at least to my knowledge, yeah. So, yes?
So I read the book around when it first came out.
Yeah, 2013, that was a while ago.
Oh, maybe not, maybe 2018.
Okay.
I read it around that time.
Okay.
18, but when I read it, I was coming to Baba at that time.
Oh, right.
And I remember at the beginning, his story of coming into Baba's fold. But particularly, I'm just sharing what happened to me, but he had these moments where he would freak out when he would see Baba, and he would tackle him.
Yeah.
And roll on the ground and be kissing him, and the Madhli would come in and be like, "What?" And Baba would say like,
Yeah.
"You don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand." He would be rolling with Baba, but that was such a sweet connection with your father.
Yeah.
So I felt like such a beautiful, how could Baba
Yeah.
allow a man to express his love?
Yeah, he would often pet him, to calm him down. He would, like a mother would her child, like a mother.
Aspect of your father,
Yeah, yeah.
He was.
Yeah,
He said for him.
yeah. Because he was so frustrated in his younger life and his search for God, and so when this finally happened, you can imagine it was like a magnet, coming together. The pull of love was like a magnet. Yeah. So very difficult but it's okay. I'm looking after you. You are dearly like a mother. Yeah. So. Anybody else? Okay, I think we're good. So, I'll end with beloved Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.